Commissioners, the next item is item number 7. It's an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Manhattan at 16 Morton Street, located within the Greenwich Village Historic District Extension, docket number 165287, block 586, lot 55. A federal-style row house designed by Henry Fredericks and built circa 1829 and altered as a utilitarian-style garage and multiple dwelling in 1928 and 1935. The application is to construct a rear yard addition and install signage.
Good morning, Commissioners. Caroline Passion, Preservation Staff. The subject property is located on the south side of the street, just to the east of 7th Avenue South. Please note, for the record, that this building sits within the Greenwich Village Historic District Extension 2. Here are text photographs of the buildings, circa 1940 and the 1980s. This was the conditions of the building at the time of designation, and this is what the building looks like today. There are two components to this application. First, the applicant's proposing to construct a full-height rear addition that will sit on top of an existing one-story addition. This proposed addition will not be visible from the rear. You can see it here, and it will be set back from the rear facades of the adjacent buildings. The second component of the application is to install painted signage on the garage door. And this application is under your review because staff cannot approve a full-height rear addition on a row house, and the signage rules at staff level are for storefronts only. So the architect, Matthew Baird, is here to discuss the proposal in more detail.
Commissioners, thank you. Primary alteration here is a 22-foot, two-story addition on the back of the building. Windows and other aspects of this renovation were approved by LPC in a prior submission, which was reviewed at staff level. And the signage is to be painted on the existing garage door. The garage door will be painted black with white block signage. Our client, for reasons of privacy, has not disclosed, did not want us to disclose the company name, but it would be printed here.
Is this a commercial building or is this a mixed use?
It's a ground mixed use,
Okay.
ground floor commercial.
All right. Are there any questions for the applicant?
Just,
Yes, Adi?
was the green original, the green color?
It does appear in the original tax photo I don't know if that's a tax photo from designation.
Yeah.
The garage door is painted green. There you see it at designation in 2010 and existing today. The proposal is to paint the window frames black and the garage door black.
And the door as well? The
front
arch door,
yes.
black too?
Yes.
Yes, Jared, do you want to? Okay, all right. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Okay, are there any speakers on this item? No speakers. All right, Adi, did you have some concern about the change in color? Is that, what do we know? I mean, the paint, is that
It appears
before us,
that's
or-
that dark black forest green, which is probably a traditional color that we've approved quite often.
Right, but there's the traditional green, but they want to change it into black. Is that?
Is the proposal for black?
Yeah, the proposal is for a black painted garage door as well as for the residential entrance. At staff level, we had approved black painted with
Yeah.
windows as well. So
Yeah.
it's probably to tie in the finish of the fenestration pattern at the front facade. Historically, if you're asking, like at the time of designation, it was painted green, but I think if you saw the historic photographs, it was just the dark painted door.
Yeah.
Well, you
it's
can't
hard to
really
know.
see,
Yeah,
but
it's hard
I'm
to
just
know.
saying.
And I think
think it's fine.
historically, we don't
Yeah.
get involved
Yeah.
at that level.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
But that's also at staff level as well.
okay, that's.
It's just the signage itself.
Right, that's what I just wanted to clarify.
I think you see a lot of these doors with black and the garage doors, and it's very
Yes.
typical, so, you know, and it's more discreet maybe.
So
And
it's- the only reason this is here then is
Signage,
because
yeah.
of the signage?
It's one of the signage in the rear.
In the rear addition.
in the rear, yeah.
Right, and the rear
Rear
addition, the only reason it's before us is because it goes,
It's full height, but the architect can maybe talk about the context a little bit. It's not part of a row. It's
Yeah.
it's an individual building that was a federal-style building that's been modified over the years. I think it's flanked by tenements, but
right, which are taller. In fact, I think the rear seems very modest. I was actually wondering why, we don't see it. So the only reason that comes before the commission, it's a rear addition, but it goes full height. So if this
that's
didn't go
right.
to the full height,
It's the guidelines at this point do not allow, because it was traditionally described as a multiple dwelling, not as a garage structure.
I
So-
see. It's
so
almost
at
like a
this point-
technicality.
That's right.
Okay. All right, I think, any issues at all? I think it seems right. Okay. Did I close the hearing? I'll close the hearing. All right, Michael, do you want to read that?
Okay. Regarding 16 Morton Street in the Greenwich Village Historic District Extension 2, the application is to construct a rear yard addition and install signage. I recommend approval, finding that the rear yard addition will not be visible from a public thoroughfare. That most of the rear wall was reconstructed in the 1920s and 30s, and therefore no significant architectural features will be lost or damaged as a result of the construction of the rear yard addition. Because the building was altered from a row house to a garage and multiple dwelling, and is currently not part of a row, the full-height addition will be in keeping with the building's history of facade alterations and accretions, that the rear addition will not project further than the rear of adjacent buildings and the building's existing one-story rear addition at the basement, and the proposed painted signage at the garage door will be in keeping with the signage found on buildings of this type.
All in favor? Any opposed? This application's been approved.